Okay, think about it. We've had 18 full years of NAFTA. What have we got? We have a disastrous economy in Mexico. The real wage has gone down. Millions of people, at least 2 million people, pushed out of the countryside. The collapse of corn production, the pride of Mexico for 2,000 years, more. What do we have in the United States? We have 17% unemployment and underemployment, people who say they want full-time jobs but can't get them. In Mexico, that number is close to half the population of Mexico has unemployed and underemployed. 18 years of NAFTA. What have we got?
Nothing.
The way that people talk about the border, the way that people talk about U.S. and Mexico relationships is always U.S. versus Mexico. We're here to say, the members of Occupy El Paso and Las Cruces are here to say that it's the 99% in both countries against the corporate elite and the purchased politicians, the 1% in both countries. It's not that Mexico and the United States are separate. Mexico, the people of Mexico and the United States are together in the struggle for justice. What have we accomplished here? We've changed the discourse. We've changed the discourse. We're now talking about inequality. We're now talking about unemployment. We're now talking about underemployment in both countries. We've completely changed the way the public thinks about things, and that's going to have an impact on political decisions in the long run. I think this is a long-run struggle. What would we want to happen? For example, there's value to a fair trade system. There's space for both fair trade, for fair international trade, and also for some role for protection. For example, there's no reason why we should be giving enormous profits to Monsanto and resulting in millions of people in the Mexican countryside having their corn, the productivity of their corn crop essentially destroyed, so that they're either dying of hunger or they're dying crossing the border to come to the United States. We need investment funds in infrastructure in both countries. We have decaying infrastructure in both countries. Pretty much the only investments in infrastructure you see in the two countries is the infrastructure of massive enforcement behind us. But we're not seeing it out in our communities, are we? So those are some of the things that could be done. Juarez has only primary water treatment, primary sewage treatment. That all it means is it takes the toilet paper and the turds out of the water. That's what that means. They've got big screens. They don't clean the water. The water flows through the city, filled with diseases, with bacteria and hepatitis. It's then used as irrigation water in the Valle de Juarez, where, of course, it contaminates food that people eat. Okay? There is no reason why we should not be investing in the infrastructure required to take a world-class city of 1.5 million people and give them tertiary water treatment.
We have Alan Dicker from Occupy Las Cruces. Alan?
All right. Buenas tardes a todas y a todos. Mi nombre es Alan Andrés, and I'm from Las Cruces. And I've kind of been asked to talk for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, so if I start going over, let me know. And talking today about, obviously, NAFTA, which went into effect on January 1st, this very day in 1994, and also about the larger economic system that it represents. Being that today is January 1st, and that today is also the anniversary of the Zapatista uprising in Chiapas in that same year, which was no coincidence. I thought it'd be good to start with a quote from Subcomandante Marcos. And I'm translating it from Spanish right now, so, bear with me. Basically, he says that modern globalization, the neoliberalism as a worldwide system, should be understood as a new war of conquest of territories. Neoliberalism. Neoliberalism is the current stage of capitalism. It's what's been happening since the 1970s, 1980s. It characterizes itself with privatization of public resources, of public organizations. And basically its aim is the free market, what they call the free market, which really isn't very free, but we'll get to that in a minute. Marcos goes on to say that in this new world war, modern politics as an organizer of the national state does not exist anymore. Now politics is only an economic organizer, and the politicians are modern administrators of business. The new owners of the world are not governments. They don't need to be. National governments take charge of administering business in different regions of the world. This is the new world order, the unification of the entire world in one single market. So, what are the tenets of this new world order? What are the tenets of neoliberalism, of the neoliberal economic system? And what are its effects? What have been its effects? I'll start by quoting again, and I'll be quoting a lot of different sources because I think they're more worth listening to than just me. I'll start by quoting Chomsky, who says that neoliberalism is capitalism with the gloves off. It represents an era in which business forces are stronger and more aggressive and face less organized opposition than ever before, and where it's increasingly difficult to challenge business and next to impossible for non-market, non-commercial, and democratic forces to exist
I'm
at all.
speaking on behalf of 4 generations of women here on the border. My grandmother, my mother, me, and my daughters. Having to work 3 different jobs at minimum wage, struggling to make ends meet without an opportunity to do more. Having to do more would mean leaving your children unsupervised, like so many of us had to do to go to school, to make parent-teacher meetings, to try to instill the things that we want them to have in them to get ahead. This has all impacted us directly. My daughter is the first one to get through college in 4 generations and move away. The first one with her bachelor's degree. The first one working on her master's. This has taken 400 years, if not longer, to get to that point. This has taken 3 jobs, working in a clinic, working as a security guard, working in a bar as a waitress. This is what it takes. It continues now. So what can I say? I can't preach to the choir. I only know the things that I have gone through and continue to go through. And it seemed for a while that things were improving and the bottom just fell out. It didn't fall out. People woke up finally. Woke up and realized what was going on. So I just want to say thank you for being here and being a part of it. Why the Brown Berets? Because people need to pay attention. The government doesn't listen anymore. The government doesn't want to hear it anymore. So making our presence known is what it's going to take. We have nothing left to lose and everything to gain. Thank you.
¡Hasta vive! ¡La